Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus the Riven Realms. And we're in the midst of Sidarius's new, personal quest. If you're interested in checking out how Sidarius joined the group, where he came from since the last time we saw him, he died in the tutorial, go check out the DLC first look video I did, posted a couple days ago. Definitely worth a look. Also, definitely check out the DLC if this game is something that you're interested in. Lost Pilgrim, nice enough to send me a code for the DLC. I forgot to mention that last episode. So I thought I'd just give them a pitch right now. They're a great group of guys and gals. I love this game. Definitely check it out if you're interested. But we have Sidarius in tow. He wants us to take him to his friend Octavius in Devon. So right now we're sitting in the Vigilus Tower, just a little ways away from Torzag's shelter. We need to make a run over there anyway. We're kind of running out of supplies, and I do have a bunch of stuff in tow that we need to drop off there. So let's head over there. I think we should have just enough movement to make it to Torzag's shelter before we starve. Technically, we had one more day, but I think we're doing good. There we go. Yep. You can camp as long as you have supplies. Once you've hit 0, though, then you're in trouble. Nothing to hide. Trade license. Inside the city we go. Turn everything in. And now we're like gaining money back. I forgot how easy it is to make money in this game when you're not just running around doing story quests. But let's see here. We would like to... I wonder... While we're here, isn't there like a weird store? So the this is also new due to the DLC, is the Freelancers Guild, is you can hire like comitatus companions. So if you're like, especially early on in the game when you don't have a lot of companions, I know I was running Gorgoro and Harvick for like 50 episodes or something like that. You can hire people to kind of fill out your fighting crew at the very beginning. So it kind of helps out that way. Let's check out the Kalrish market. Dogs, bogweed, exquisite jewel. Not really what we're looking for. I was hoping we could find some demon horn, because right now I'm just waiting for time to pass before we go back to Avernum to get the demon horn from the sorcerer who lives there. But there is no demon horn here. So let's see. We're going to Devon. Here we go. Wow, that's a lot of obsidian. We should probably buy all of the supplies, because I think Devon is like 12 days away. Yep. All right, I'm glad we bought all the supplies. We want to get 3 more beasts of burden, I think. 1, 2, 3. And then we need to fill out our labor market. Got 27 horses. And then what else do we got? I suppose I should have looked... Okay, I was going to say, I should have looked to see if there were enough things to bring to Devon, but it sure looks like there's a lot of obsidian that needs hauling to Devon. 9? 4! You know what? Oh wait, we had to have to sell 2 stacks worth. Rats! Because I would totally take this. I don't want to get rid of 3 stacks of food. And I need the dragon steel, so... Alas, another 4. Can't there be like a smugglers group that wants to take 2 like stacks of blades to Devon or something like that? Nah, well, we'll just deal with it. Exchange for news, Mirage, Acarus, Quarry, and Valarius. I don't remember the last time I went to Valarius. I think it was when we got Krifta, and I've never been back since. All right, well, let's head out. We have even less food, actually, because we had to hire the beasts of burden. To the city gates, and away we go. Hopefully we can kind of pick up some supplies as we go. If we get lucky. We also might not have the right amount of movement. I also should be force marching, and that'll kind of alleviate some of our supply problems. because we'll get to Devon faster, even though it tires out our people. Let's visit Buka, the woman who lives at the crossroads for some reason. Ask for trade. What you got? Nothing. And then rumors. Oops. No time for any of that. Off we go. And then we'll force march tomorrow. I don't like to force march when I use my movement ability. You bastard. Damn taxman. One of these days I'm gonna get to level 5 and then I'll never have to pay the taxman again. Level 5 with one of these houses here. I suppose it's House Venari. I'm only 56 away. So close. Cadmid. I gotta work on Cadmidor too. I haven't seen them in a long time because I haven't been to the Bronze Desert in a very long time either. We were gonna force march today. That's correct. Off we go. Force marching just takes a little bit of your morale, your vigor. I think it's all 3. Slows you down. But if you're just sitting at... Yeah, it's definitely all 3. If you're just sitting at the max amount of your... I don't even know what to call it. Stats, I guess. You're kind of wasting opportunity because you could be generating, like, positive morale or positive obedience or vigor. And if you're not, you're just sitting at 9. So I think it makes a lot of sense to try and utilize force march when you're at full of morale, obedience, and vigor. I've talked about this multiple times, but I figured there might be some new people with the DLC coming out. Give you my philosophy on how to play this game. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not right. I think I'm pretty good at this game. I do forget things a lot, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not terrible at it. Show them my license. In we go. Turn in. Man, we'd be rolling in it if the stupid taxman hadn't stole all our stuff. We must visit. Before I take anything from Devon, I definitely want to figure out where Sidarius needs to go next. So, let's go visit the Hinter Caves. Find the necropolis where Octavius, the friend of Sidarius, resides. Abandoned dark... That is a creepy picture. Abandoned dark tunnels and snaking corridors echo with your footsteps, and at length you reach the entrance archway that leads to a necropolis occupying a spacious cavern. An eerie silence hangs in the moldy air as your gaze sweeps lichen-covered gravestones, small and large, crumbling mausoleums, obsidian memorial monoliths, and burial shelves carved into the rock walls filled with ancient bones. Pale light emanating from crystal formations on the cave's ceiling provides a measure of illumination, but the graveyard is mostly covered in soothing darkness. Yet even in the pervasive twilight, you can ascertain that the place is old, very old. You are here to find Octavius for Sidarius. Sidarius takes the lead, and you accompany him as he strides across the necropolis, walking down its narrow passages meandering between graves and mausoleums. As far as you can tell, the place has seen much better days. It is evident that the caretakers of some kind are doing their best to maintain the most prominent paths, and some of the graves, but the size of the necropolis seems to be beyond their capabilities to cover. Thus, lichen and vines have grown over and into many of the graves, while most of the larger mausoleums are in a state of disrepair. After a minute or so, you see light ahead emanating from the doorway of a small stone building. A sturdy hovel, not a burial place by the looks of it. A tall man appears, his broad-shouldered frame outlined by the light behind him. Salve, good night. He welcomes Sidarius in a low voice. What brings you to this necropolis? How may I, under whose care the dead rest here, be of service to you? Sidarius stops a stone's throw away from the man, and after a few tense moments, he finally speaks. You can begin by telling me why you defied the magistrate of Vivara, and why you then had depraved relations with his daughter. What? The knight's voice is a malicious rasp. The man stands motionless for a moment, and then he steps closer, his voice echoing with astonishment and realization when he speaks. Sidarius, great king, preserve my soul, but I thought you were dead. Yes, it is I, Sidarius says in a softer voice, and I am dead, but I am also here. Have they granted you Oscul's greatest boon, my friend? The man asks, walking closer now. You can see that he is of Damahan descent and must be in his 50s. After a fashion, Sidarius says, and he shakes his friend's hand when he reaches you. It is why I came. I am in need of your expertise, he tells the necromancer. Octavius nods and glances at you, so Sidarius explains that you brought him here and that you can be trusted. A pleasure, then, the Damahan says and bows his head. Welcome to this forsaken necropolis. Such as it is mine to look after. I am certain that Sidarius has already told you, but I am a necromancer, a humble servant of Oscul. He glances at Sidarius, still disbelief in his gaze, and a friend. Why don't you lead us to some place we can drink, sit and talk? Why did I say drink? Some place we can sit and talk, the knight inquires, and I have some explaining to do. Without hesitation, Octavius leads you to his hovel, where you can sit down on stone benches just outside the building. There, Sidarius lunges into an explanation of everything that led to his current state. The assignment near Avernum years ago, the strained cooperation with Vagrus Tiberius Aburo that led to the knight's death in the wasteland, his slumber beneath the sands, the voices that he dreamt of, and his eventual reanimation by an unknown force. Once he concludes the tale by telling Octavius how you found him, and how his order turned on him, the necromancer falls into a ponderous silence. I've taken the liberty of examining you using my magical senses, the Damahan says after a while. And, Sidarius interjects impatiently. Well, you were brought back using necromancy. There is no doubt about that, he says matter-of-factly. However, the imprint, for lack of a better word, on the enchantment that animates you is strange. Octavius closes his eyes and massages his temple briefly. Very strange indeed. In what way? Sidarius rasps in a strained voice. Can't say. Octavius sighs. My current hypothesis is that somehow Arenas Negris is responsible for your resurrection, my friend. It is not unheard of, but I admit that coming back like that is highly unlikely to produce an independent, thinking undead individual such as you. So unlikely, in fact, that I've never heard of such a case. That seems impossible, then. Sidarius falls silent, gazing ahead into the necropolis. That is the reason for my brethren turning on me, the knight states darkly. I am an abomination. Not necessarily, Octavius offers hastily, but the unusual ways of your return might confuse those not well versed in the necromantic arts. Not to sound contemptuous, but your fellow knights usually lack a true understanding of the nuances of necromancy, even though they can make use of it in certain ways. It would explain their less than warm welcome at the shrine. Perhaps their senses misled them, bringing about violence. I understand, my friend. It was a very unfortunate turn of events. I doubt that a shrine keeper so well versed in inquisitive magic would make such a mistake, Sidarius says darkly. No, Octavius, they saw me for what I am now. My senses still revealed Oscul's sacred power as the source of your return. The necromancer raises a finger as he continues. You are no abomination, my friend, no. You are, I'd say, exquisite. You, Sidarius says, and then he stands up and begins to walk around enthusiastically. You are right. Whatever the cause, I am here by the will of the gods. My brethren are in the wrong for not seeing that, and I can still prove it. Sidarius goes from, depressed to, fanatical in a second, is wild. Perhaps. Octavius offers weakly, but be warned. By now they know what happened at the shrine. Church necromancers must have spoken to the remains of the knights you slew, and will most probably hunt you. If that is so, Sidarius ponders out loud. How is it that they haven't found me, or opposed me yet? Why am I not the wanted traitor they would certainly make me out to be if what you are saying is true? How is it that the church is not looking for me? That is indeed a mystery, Octavius agrees. Perhaps the Order wishes to keep this quiet for some reason. Whatever the truth, it gives you a chance to investigate the matter at least. A blessing, nay? You ask the necromancer where the investigation should take you next. The voices, Sidarius answers your question. Yes, Octavius nods. I propose that these voices are the key to understanding the intent behind your reanimation. As I've said, all evidence points to a will bringing about your return. This Agos and his uncanny knowledge of your return, the necromancy used to raise you, the nigh impossibility of the calamity's curse producing an independent and conscious undead. The necromancer holds a dramatic pause. I suggest you return to the place where you came to, and try to listen to the voice. Perhaps now that you are not slumbering, you will hear what it wants to say. I shall do that, Sidarius declares, and then walks up to his friend and places an armored skeletal hand on his shoulder. As ever, your counsel is invaluable. I am honored and grateful to call you a friend. Octavus stands and places a hand on the knight's shoulder, overjoyed that the news of your demise was untrue. Or, well, after a fashion at least. Yeah, I don't know about untrue. Sidarius draws his hand back, and so does Octavus, the momentary warmth between them all but gone. Take these, the Damahan adds, handing you a bag containing small engraved bones. Blessed by my own hands, may they bring you solace from the restless undead. I am certain the Vagrus will appreciate them. We should be off, the knight announces. Octavus nods a few times. Yet, if you wish to talk, well, I'll be here. You express your interest in conversation, and the necromancer welcomes it with a wide smile. Ah, yes, the Vagrus is ever the inquisitive soul, Sidarius rasps. Go on, then, I shall entertain such desires of yours. Ah, you have insisted me well thus far. You turn to the necromancer. Oh, Osculite charms and insight. How can I be of service, then? The necromancer asks you with a kind smile. Well, we know what we need to do for Sidarius. I don't know what to ask him about. I will talk to him later. We need to get Sidarius back to where we got him from, I assume. Yeah. We just went in a big circle. We picked up Sidarius, ran all the way around to Vigilus Tower, went over to Torzag's, back up to Devon, and now we're bringing him right back to the desert. How wild would it be if they're like, all right, plant him back in the ground, bury him for the next guy. What that means, though, is we can take missions out to Avernum, basically Sunrock, Ash, and Avernum. And maybe time has passed enough that we can get Gorgoro's armor while we're out there as well. But let's see here. There's definitely some stuff to go to Ash. There's always stuff to take to Sunrock from here. You don't trust me? How am I ever going to get trusted by you guys if you don't trust me to take stuff for you right now? I could do this so easily. I'm upset with you, House Venari. I lodge a complaint. There actually doesn't look like there is anything to take to Avernum, which is wild. So in that case, we'll take the Ash mission. I think there was a second one that I saw while I was just scrolling through. Yep. Okay, that one at least was for House Venari as well. It was a level 3, so I'm not sure if it'll get us more rep with them, but more rep is welcome. Now we will take Sunrock. Oh, we also need supplies. I forget about that. Let's just buy all the supplies they have. And then it looks like that's as good as we can do. Should I buy some stuff? I think I'll sell these back. And then I will buy... What's the most... Is it hides? Or is it chitin? Trading 101 with Ben, the human. Let's go here. Devon, Avernum, hides. You can buy them for... Terrible. Don't do that. Okay. There's nothing we can do here. All right. We will... Unless there was, like... I also found this out the other day, is you can sort by, like, type of mission. I almost exclusively only take supply missions, so I should definitely be sorting by that. Aha! There is some stuff that we could take to Sunrock. I think I would take it for the Scathicness Covenant. I don't really care about gaining rep with the Church of Oscul. Like, I buy talismans from them, but that's kind of it. Alright, and off we go. We've updated Sidarius' journal. I should check on Sidarius to see if I can level him up a little bit. I think you always can to level 3 as long as you have the insight. But maybe he's gained enough loyalty that we can level him up. Discuss his search for the source of his unlife. What is it you wish to be enlightened about? Ask him about his friend Octavus. I wasn't wrong about Octavus, the knight states proudly. His willingness, nay, dedication to us, to aid us in this endeavor is humbling. I do not enjoy putting him in harm's way, but perhaps our elusive foe shall not... find out about him, isolated at the necropolis as he is, and as far as his judgment, I trust his intuition and knowledge entirely, so we are to follow his lead in this investigation, Vagrus. Okay. Give him a gift? What? Oh, we could give him the Talisman of Divine Rage. The Ring of Leeching. Oh, show him the ring. Oh, this is even better. We don't have to give him anything. We can just show them to him. I'm certain that you've heard how these rings are created, Sidarius tells you in a dark tone. Indeed, the Nosferatu Sisterhood is known to perform such vile and depraved acts, allegedly for the good of the Empire. Of all the Folcumus and the lesser sects, it is their coven of witches that I trust the least. That is saying something, considering that there are groups among them like Aetermanus, or the secretive cults of Nox. But the kindly sisters were granted absolution for their actions, and sickly research by the 12, so that they produce and find what they produce and find may be useful for the Empire. In this I am in disagreement with their holiness, even though I recognize the occasional need for subterfuge in the service of our causes. However, the line should be drawn long before the degeneracy of the sisterhood begins. He doesn't like the sisterhood. We will give him a Ahari trophies as proof of your allegiance to the Empire. This guy is wild. He's a wild character. Show him the Divine Talisman of Rage. A holy artifact of the great Sargarod, Sidarius almost whispers as he gazes upon the relic. Take good care of it, Vagrus, as such miraculous objects are rare and valuable, not merely measurable in coin, but spiritually. Earning them paints you in a much better light, I dare say. Perhaps there is hope for you yet. All right, well, we'll give him some more gifts later. But let's take a look here. We can definitely give him some equipment, and based on what he just said, we should definitely give him the Talisman of Divine Rage. Frenzy, Fearless, and Accuracy. That seems good. The Raxian Incense. Excuse me. I have so much gear. Look at how many torture devices I have. Yeah, Initiative and Crit? Sure. And then, yeah, why don't we give you the Ja Rai Vex Pipe is also tempting, but I think I'll give you the Raxian Incense. He is neutral. Yeah, it looks like we can only get up to level 3 with him, but we could get Unholy Strike is kind of, seems like it's his bread and butter, and we're at Prowess 3, so we should probably upgrade that. So Mighty 4. And then Strong-Minded 3. Okay, so Unholy Strike. And then I think I want to go, like, self-buff and then just go to town on people. I think I'll leave Bane alone. Garrick kind of does that with his gas bomb anyway. So I think I'm going to go Vengeance, Unholy Strike. And then Vitality and Resistance would be good. Conduit is interesting because then he can generate power to boost his own attacks every turn. I'll think about it. Die Hard, I'm not like, it's great, but I'd rather not let my companions get down that far anyway. After you deal damage in melee, you gain initiative and damage. Whoa, that's pretty cool. He's already got Frenzy from his thing, but could we get Frenzy too? Interesting. Immovable. Sargarod's Wrath seems important. Accuracy and initiative. Templar seems like gotta have it. Anything that gives you armor in this game, super important. Terrifying. Attacks against you have an accuracy penalty. Very interesting. He just comes with thick skull. Is it because he wears a helmet, or is it because he only has a skull? You be the judge. And then Undead Champion would also be good. We already have guard captains and marauders, so we don't really need to waste any upgrades on either of these. But we'll save the proficiency for next upgrade. I think that's pretty good for now. All right. End the day. Back to normal guarding. Sorry for the diversion, talking to Sidarius and then setting him up. We'll get back to the desert. I promise. Zoom. We have 17. Some of these are not our supplies, though. I gotta remember that. We'll do force marching today. Excuse me. What is happening? Just as the Comitatus is about to reach Sunrock's gate, you hear a shout from behind you. You turn and spot Eylani, who is jogging towards you while passing the marching column of beasts and men. Vagrus, we have to talk, she says, slightly out of breath. It is not too often that you see the rangers struggling for air, so you surmise this must be important. You let her pull you aside to speak in private. I have to confess something, Eylani begins, and you are all ears. Remember when that shady fellow abducted you and wanted information about Keldrin's whereabouts? You do. How could you get that? I actually had forgotten that happened to me. It was like 6 episodes ago that I got kidnapped and almost killed. Right, and remember how I spared the man's life? Well, it wasn't entirely for altruistic reasons. While we were walking away, I bid Stryker follow the Sob after he came to. I figured he would return to his employer, his Dominus, the one that's been chasing my husband, and he did. He apparently works for an imperial aristocrat called Marcus Gavus Rhaenus. You ask Elani why it is so important right now. The half-elf points toward the sky. Stryker is scouting for me as we speak. Squinting against the sun, you spot a small black dot circling high above you in the blue. So I happen to know that a relatively large retinue of the same nobleman has entered Sunrocks shortly before us. I recognize the insignia of the Gavus family through Stryker's eyes. During our travels, I have investigated the Gavus clan as much as I could. From what I learned, they own holdings down south, so them being here might be connected to my husband. Might also be a coincidence, but it's still worth checking out. You ask her what she suggests. It will take some time for our Comitatus to clear the gates, Eylani replies, barely concealing her excitement. If the two of us and a handful of trusted Comies could enter ahead of that, we could follow these Gavus henchmen and maybe find Keldrin. Yeah, agree to the plan. I guess we're doing this instead. Sorry, Sidarius. The ranger claps her hands together in eager anticipation. Very good, she exclaims. Let's gather a group of our best and be on our way. So you do. The two of you and your selected companions skip ahead of the line, waiting to be admitted into Sunrock. Once at the gates, the half-elf ranger routinely bribes the guards, and then you are inside the city. Let's start with the taverns, Eylani suggests. I know a few where they might have heard of my dear husband if he is indeed in town. That is as good a plan as any, so you follow Eylani's lead. 5 people. Okay. All right. You're up. First outing for Sidarius with our crew, other than the one fight we had last time. So second outing with Sidarius. Anyway, so Eylani, Gorgoro, Sidarius front line. We've got Nadir on the back, and I'm kind of thinking, I mean, Garrick did really good last time, so maybe we'll give Garrick the start over Kreefta. Give it a confirm. Gain loyalty. Fantastic news. Visiting the first establishment suggested by the ranger brings you no luck, so you proceed to the next one. This one is invitingly labeled the Woeful Worm, but looks surprisingly classy. Once inside, Eylani does not fuss about and walks straight up to the bar. Keldrin, the bartender, a blonde dwarf with an eye patch, asks, Aye, he's lodging here all right. He's in the room immediately left from the stairway on the first floor. You can tell that he deeply cares for his customers' privacy. Sarcasm, I love it. But he told me not to let anybody disturb him. The man's really busy. Hey, lady! Eylani gives the dwarf a look that could kill. Thanks, she hisses, and with that she is already halfway up the stairs. You can barely keep up with her. A bouncer tries to obstruct her. A foolish venture. A swift strike with the butt of Eylani's spear, and the guy is on his knees, clutching his groin. There is no resisting such furious determination, so you deem it best to follow Eylani. I like the idea that this guy just got his balls nailed, and I just kind of shrug as I walk by him. I'm like, what are you gonna do? You tell your other companions to wait downstairs. Before you can say anything, Eylani already found the door and kicks it down. Hey, hang on, I paid for this, someone yells in an alarmed voice. There's also a piercing female cry. Eee! From behind Eylani's back, you spot a handsome half-elf in the state of undress trying to pick up his clothes from the floor, and also a young serving wench who is trying to hide behind the bed's sheets. Eylani takes a deep breath. Oh, you paid for this? Sorry to disturb you then, husband, she hisses at the man. Husband? The maid between the pillows squeaks. You didn't tell me you weren't. Hush for a moment, my sweet, Keldrin tells her not unkindly, and then turns towards Eylani. My love! How unexpected to see you here! Please do come in, along with your, strange but not unwelcome companion. Pleased to meet you, by the way. I am Keldrin, and I'm also deeply sorry for the state you found me in. Let me slip into something more, well, into something. He rummages around on the floor and finally puts on a pair of pants. Thank God. That's the Vagrus I'm working for, Eylani informs him coldly. I'm not entirely sure who that might be, though. She points at the wench behind the sheets. Keldrin shrugs. That? Come on, love, that's just a lovely acquaintance whom I met last night. No offense, dear. You surely remember our agreement. I wasn't overstepping or anything. I did miss you dearly, and I have needs. Jesus. Eylani looks sullen, but then she eventually just nods. Yeah, you're right, she sighs and then turns to the wench. Sorry, but could you effing leave? We're married, you see, no hard feelings. The girl nods, wraps the blanket around her, and then slips out the door. Thank God I don't have to voice that girl's voice anymore. So now that we're alone, Keldrin says and glances at you and corrects himself. Well, almost alone. You might want to divulge why you're so angry. We were going our different ways for a time being. I wasn't doing anything the two of us haven't consented upon. Eylani crosses her arms in front of her chest. It's not about this girl you've bedded. Not about any girls you've bedded or are going to bed. I'm fine with your promiscuity, and God knows I've had my share of lovers while we've been apart. Keldrin looks at you inquiringly, but you shake your head to indicate a firm no. The half-elf shrugs and then turns his attention back to his wife, who continues. But while I was looking for you, I did hear a rumor. Does the name Marcus Gavus Rhaenus ring a bell? Keldrin ponders for a passing moment. No, he says. Sorry, sounds like an imperial aristocrat. I met quite a few of those during my travels. As you know, I earn my coin by entertaining noble families from time to time. Family names tend to get mixed up when one comes around the way I do. Eylani stomps her feet, and you're afraid she is going to point her spear at her husband. Oh, for F's sake, come on, she points at you. This one here has been tortured by one of Gavus's men just to learn where you were. Don't play dumb. You surely must have committed something. At first, Keldrin looks like he's going to make another excuse, but then he eventually just sighs and sits down on the bed. He hangs his head low. Well, yes, fine. I made a mistake, but that doesn't mean I'm unfaithful to you, Eylani, nor that anything has to change. Wherever I may roam, you're still my only true love. You know that, right? Suddenly you hear a warning shout from one of your companions downstairs. Uh-oh. You rush outside to see what it is all about. Eylani follows you too, walking down to the common hall. The comius that shouted the warning points outside the window. There is a gathering of thugs outside, led by the very man who tortured you to gain information for his dominus. The lackeys of Marcus Gavus Rhaenus have found you, it seems. To make things worse, the bouncers of the Woeful Worm lie dead at their feet. Holy hell! You killed the bouncers! You psychos! Keldrin, you lecherous son of a... Oh, this is one of the guys. Keldrin, you lecherous son of a bee, the torturer bellows. We know you're inside. Come out to face judgment, or else we'll burn this whole place to the ground. Elani and you both look back up the stairs, where Keldrin is now standing with an aloof expression. The half-elf has donned his weapons and garb, but he does not look too eager to go outside. What, you expect me to get myself slaughtered? What for? He asks you. Elani just rolls her eyes and pulls out her spear. You have weapons, aren't you gonna fight, you goon? We'll have a serious talk about after this is done, my husband, she grumbles, hefting her spear. Let's get this over with. Strike her, at them. Obeying her sharp whistle, the bird of prey swoops down from above the tavern and begins to claw at one of the goons' faces. Using the distraction, the half-elf ranger rushes out into the open to meet her enemies, with your comies not far behind. As the battle is joined, you hear a whistling sound. Something rushes by and a henchman of the Gavus family goes down, spitting blood. A javelin decorated with feathers sticks out from his chest. Turning back, you see the grinning Keldrin giving you an encouraging nod, already holding another javelin. And then the fight begins in earnest. Okay, so he is gonna fight. What a weird guy. Alright, we're gonna have to rework our squad 1 here. Oh, is he not fighting? He just, like, killed a guy? But I thought he would be, like, a guy that we could have out there. Apparently not. Okay, well, whatever. Begin fight. Alright, we got a... What the hell? Battle narcotics. Alright, we got a goon, a torture, another goon, a centaur, an orc, and a hired killer who looks like a ninja. Okay, let's try to stun somebody. Probably the orc? Yeah, because he got battle something. Throw down your wards. And then Sedarius, give yourself a boost. Ooh, enchanted. Does that mean his sword does magic damage now? Perhaps it does. Let's try to kill this guy. He seems dangerous. You got armor? No. Is it? You have armor of all people. All right, break this guy's armor. Oh, crit for 9. Fantastic news. Excuse me, you're not allowed to do that. All right, fend off means he will stab me next turn. Aha, nerd. Stop that. I don't need a narcotic enemy running around the battlefield. Good stab, Eylani. Throw down the gas bomb. And then, maybe we can kill this guy? Not quite. We got him. All right, Sidarius, just start swinging. Go mad. 0 damage, that's what I like to see. I don't like to see my mage up at the front, but... Is that all that guy does? He just narcotics everybody up to the gills? Kill the centaur. Oh, nice. Yes. I think I would rather have her at the back and Sidarius at the front. Reload your gun. Stab this man. 5 damage is solid. Especially because, like, Skornar does, like, at maximum, like, 3 damage. And he has 2 armor? You seeing this? If we upgrade him, he can get 3 armor? That's nuts. Also, I think Skornar has an armor talisman that I should definitely give to Sidarius. Because if he had 3 armor, he would just be, like, impervious. Not to bosses or anything, like, really strong, but still. 3 armor would be bonkers. Alright. You, Eylani, and your companions, and to some degree, Keldrin, overcome the lackeys of the Gavis family. That seems to be all of them, Eylani pants while looking around. I highly doubt the Gavises would have hired more killers in town. We should be safe now. Indeed you are, for all of a sudden the city guard of Sunrock arrived, just in time to miss the fight, of course. The writing in this little side quest is very good. What's all this then? The leader demands to know in an authoritative voice. Everybody present, including the Woeful Worm's owner and its patrons, testified that this was but a tavern brawl gone south, where you were the innocent defending party against the hired criminals of an overreacting aristocrat from a distant realm. The guards seemed content with that explanation. Less work for them. Soon enough, they disappeared, taking the slain with them. But gotta get rid of these bodies, I guess. But they are apparently not the only ones to have done so. Where did my husband go now? Eylani exclaims in desperation. Must I really cross the whole of Zareen to find him? Apparently, Keldrin disappeared in the battle's final moments, fearing the guards finding him here. Luckily, Eylani has an idea where he might have gone. She leads you to a nearby house, one of a mutual friend's, she says, and before she proceeds, the half-elven ranger pulls you aside to exchange a few words. Listen to what she's got to say. This might not be the time, she begins, but then I guess it will never really be, so why not bring it up now? The trouble is I missed Keldrin, that's why I asked you to help me look for him, but now I'm not so sure. This whole arrangement of ours doesn't seem right all of a sudden, and he was the one to advocate it in the first place. Initially I thought it for the benefit of both of us, but now, I wonder whether it's only been for him. Having a relationship where one's free to be with others from time to time is one thing, but doing things Keldrin apparently did while we are apart, that's something else. And who knows what else he has done? I do not know. Am I reaching here? Do you have any suggestions, Vagrus? I mean, like, everybody changes. Like, maybe at the time she was like, this was okay, but if she's not feeling it anymore, I think it's totally fair for her to be like, you know what? I've changed as a person. Good luck. Convince Eylani to quit the marriage as it seems harmful to her. Given that she is interested in your opinion, you tell Eylani that Keldrin does not seem to be a bad person as such, albeit maybe a bit insecure and afraid of commitment. However, he most certainly has used her to his advantage, merely thinking of her as a plaything under the pretense of an open relationship, while leading to a hedonistic and egotistic lifestyle. Everything you learned of him so far seems to prove that he is a selfish leech that thrives on the naivete of others. You suggest that she gets rid of him as soon as she can for her own good. Your companion ponders that and then nods. Sounds like fair advice, Vagrus, she says. I guess I'll head inside. Eylani enters the building while you wait on the street. You wait for almost an hour before anything happens. Then Eylani walks out of the house on her own. She walks up to you and you get the impression that she wants to hug you, but eventually she stops herself. You ask her what happened. Let's not get into the unwholesome details, she says quietly. Suffice it to say, I thank you for opening my eyes. That prick has been manipulating me and taking advantage of my naivete. But now I am free of all that, or at least free to make my own mistakes. In short, Keldrin and I are over, for good. The half-elf smiles at you. I hope we can continue our blossoming partnership. Wandering with your crew would suit me now more than ever. Which reminds me, here, let me give you this. She hands you a master... Oh, yes! I've been looking for a dwarven compass for years! Oh, this thing is sick. I'm so excited. She hands you a master-crafted compass. It's a dwarven trinket I scavenged years ago. I prefer the sun and the stars when it comes to finding my way, but it might prove useful to you. She smirks. Don't know. Maybe I'll have to learn to navigate better myself. The ranger pats you on the shoulder. Come on, Vagrus. The journey awaits us. The two of you return to the Comitatus talking all the way. Hell yeah! Sick. Well, it sounds like we finished Eylani's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the longer one. We will pick up with Sidarius's mission. We got a little sidetracked there. Next time. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more Vagrus, the Riven Realms, or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. Make sure your notifications are on so you know when my videos go live. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.